You're eating a chocolate bar on 2.
It's not on 2. Certainly not on 2, and I need just a little energy. And I'm in the fat burning zone. Right. You're burning muscle. This is how you burn fat.
BlazeBodyz! Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for coming back. I appreciate you guys starting the year off right with me. Man, last year was crazy. A lot we could talk about, but it's probably better we just put that in the past and focus on going forward. And that's what we're here to do. So as you can probably imagine, there's going to be tons of fitness YouTube people giving various bits of advice, being it's the first of the year. A lot, myself included, we're giving you advice to get you going because, as you know, every year everyone has good intentions of starting out and getting themselves in shape, or this is it. They have the attitude where they're gonna cease all the bad and move on with the good. So a big topic all the time, constantly, is the cardio concern. The type of cardio, how much cardio, will cardio burn fat? Will it not burn fat? Will it burn muscle? It's like, over the last 2 or 3 decades, I've been constantly preaching that cardio is not the end all or be all for fat burning, but it is, and I have, along the way, I have consistently said and maintained that cardio is important and cardio is essential. But when it comes to fat burning, it's not the overwhelming factor that's going to take that fat off your body. It's, as you know, it's a combination of several things. But if we must talk specifically about cardio in general, I'd like to talk about 2 different well-known people that I recently watched talking about cardio in general, and that would be Jose Raymond. He's an IFB pro bodybuilder, very well respected, ranked in 9 years in a row. Is in the top 3 of bodybuilders in the 212 class. The man knows what he's talking about. And then there's Jerry Ward from BioS3, who's been at this a long time. He's an old timer, like he calls himself lately, but he's not old by any means. But he's like me, he's been at it for a long time. And people like me and Jerry, we've been through it all. We've competed all these years, we've experimented with everything that you could all do bad, we've done. We've utilized our mistakes, and we're trying to help you out by guiding you in the right direction. So Jerry was talking about the difference between HIIT cardio and long, steady state cardio, where there's been big debate about what burns more or what takes off more weight, per se, on the scale. Whereas Jose was pretty much talking about if you should do cardio in the off season, even if you're so-called bulking. He gets asked questions, and he goes online and he answers questions in a very straightforward way. As far as what Jose was talking about, and I agree with him, you most definitely should continue to do cardio in the off season, or when you're so-called bulking, which, and I know he would agree with me when I say this, that there really should be no such thing as bulking, clean bulk, dirty bulk. It's you're gaining weight. You're putting on weight. You're putting a surplus on your body, whether it be muscle or body fat, or most of the time, physiologically speaking, it's a combination of the two, to put weight on your body. You should still do cardio, but you got to really be careful as to how much cardio, what type of cardio you're doing, how long and how frequent you're doing it. From my own personal experience, I think You know, I'm a very obsessive, compulsive person, and I get going on something and I like it, and I keep wanting to do more and more and more. And as I've seen with people over the years, and I'm sure you all have too, those certain types of people in the gym that are always doing cardio, the cardio queens, if you want to call them, and their bodies never change because as you know, your body will adapt to what it's doing. So if you start out doing 15 minutes hard of cardio a day, eventually that's not going to do anything for you, and you're going to have to bump up the length of time or the intensity, or both, to continue to have stimulus. So you can't look at if you're engaging in a venture to gain weight, gain muscle. And in the process of gaining muscle, you will put some fat on. That's just how the body works physiologically. You should still do cardio to help you gain weight because it's going to aid in the nutrient partitioning effects of getting the proper macronutrients into the cell to be burned and used for growth rather than diverted into the fat cells to be stored as an energy source. You just have to be careful not to overdo it. You have to know when to back off. If you're up to, an hour of cardio a day and you're trying to gain weight, you're not going to put that weight on like you want. It's going to consistently keep your metabolism cranking. At some point, it's going to just get complacent and nothing's going to happen. And you'll notice yourself gaining weight because it becomes more of a strain to your body. But what you need to do is progressively increase the time over a period of weeks and then back it off and then slowly bring it back up again. So you're constantly doing cardio. You just have to manipulate the length of time and the intensity, and the duration rather, and the frequency. If you're going every other day, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so, a couple of weeks go by, maybe you go 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off, or you increase the frequency or the more often times you go, or you bump up the time, the length of time you're on it. You get what I'm saying. Now, as far as Jerry Ward goes, he was talking about the differences between the number of weight, the number on the scale, and the differences of doing long steady state, which would be getting on, say, a piece of cardio equipment and getting up to 65 to 70% of your max heart rate and sustaining that for that amount of intensity for a duration of time, a long length of time, 30, 40 minutes or so, opposed to doing high intensity intervals where you're going high levels of intensity for short bursts of time, alternated with moderate and so on. So the total amount of time is not as, say, 30 minutes opposed to, say, 15 to 20 minutes. The problem is when, like Jerry said, is when you do the high intensity interval, science would suggest that people have lost equal amounts of weight, say doing 15 minutes opposed to 30 minutes of a long steady state. But the difference is it's the type of weight on that scale is mostly water loss on the high intensity standpoint, and on this long steady state it's more or less fat loss, because when you're doing long steady state cardio, you're burning down slowly your existing blood sugar level and fat introduced into the bloodstream. So the overall longer moderate effects is more fat burned off the body in that period of time, whereas in the high intensity interval cardio, you're burning down stored muscle glycogen. So if you burn off the blood sugar, if you burn off your muscle sugar, you're going to not have the ability in the muscle cell to maintain water. So you lose water weight. But the thing with high intensity interval, just like a weight training workout, is you'll have more oxygen consumption after say a 15-minute bouts of high intensity interval cardio, you'll burn more calories for the next several hours, sometimes a day. Whereas with the long steady state, you're burning off a particular amount of body fat in that particular amount of time, and maybe several hours after that cardio session. So you initially lose just water weight from the lost muscle glycogen burned in the high intensity one, but you get a little bit more extended fat burning over the span of like a day if you do it that way. So it's all in the way you look at it. And as I've seen as being a personal trainer, I clients obsess about the scale all the time. And they'll come in here and, oh yeah, I took one of those crazy classes at that place across town, and I dropped like 5 pounds over the weekend. It's unbelievable. And I went out drinking the night before, and I still lost 5 pounds. But they don't understand that weight that they dropped doesn't mean it's all fat. Or they'll go out and they'll eat like crap the night before, like tons of pizza and cookies and whatever, and they'll come in and they'll do like an hour of cardio, and they'll come back and say, yeah, I burned 1,000 calories on the treadmill today, and they're thinking in their mind that that whole amount of 1,000 calories is from body fat. It's not. You're lucky, honestly, if that maybe 10 or 20% of that 1,000 calories came from fat. And a good amount of it is water loss, and probably some of it is muscle. Your body's not going to let it up that easy. Once it stores it, it's not exactly willing to get rid of it. So it's all in the way you look at it. So yes, I absolutely agree with both people, Jose, in regards to doing cardio off season. Even if you're trying to gain weight, especially if you're trying to gain weight, you just have to keep it cool and progressively, manipulate things as things go, whether it be, a certain amount of every day, or break it up into a little bit twice a day, or go every other day. Just, you can't get crazy with it, but still do it. And then as far as the differences between long steady state and HIIT, I would do them both, but I wouldn't. You gotta understand the outcome of each. So do them both for sure. What I tell my clients is that on your weight training days, do your HIIT cardio, and on your cardio only days, do your long steady state. That way you're getting a mix of both, and one doesn't interfere with the other. So that's that. I hope you all had a safe New Year's. I hope you all geared up and ready to take on 2018. Let's slay this year. Let's throw it down and let's have the best year ever, okay? So get to the gym even more than ever now. All right, I'll see you guys very soon.